what's up today, guys? Gonna do another video real quick while I had a few minutes. You know, this one's gonna be very important, I think, to the new startup sellers. If you get on YouTube, you're trying to be an FBA, trying to get involved, whether it's arbitrage or private label, you're trying to do one of them. You get online, you're gonna look it up, right? You start looking information, you find all these big name guys, first page of YouTube, they tell you great information. I'm not saying they don't give you great information, but they don't give you detailed things. It's all high level general information that you can find on the internet for free, and they know what they're doing. They've done it. I know that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they don't give you detailed information. Therefore, they're not going to prepare you for some of the issues that come up as an FBA seller. And these are going to be three of those issues, and to me, three biggest issues that you will absolutely come across. You're going to see it. It's going to hit you, and you're going to be like, oh crap. So you're either going to have to find those videos, and you probably could. I probably could have found, dug through these guys' videos and found it, or searched for a specific issue and found it. But you don't know those issues till they happen. So you're not going to know to look up these issues beforehand. So I'm trying to prepare you for what you will see. FBA is a great platform to make money. But it's also very complicated at the beginning, as far as there is a learning curve on some things. So I'm just going to get right to it. One of the issues that I've come across, number one, that the gurus do not tell you, is what I call the outdated seller side. So you get on Amazon.com, you're a customer, it looks like this on the screen, 2018, technology's great, you just search for what you want, you buy it, it's just high end. I mean, they spent a lot of money on this platform, you can tell, right? So that's awesome. What the gurus will tell you is the seller side, on the other hand, is it looks outdated to me. I personally think if all FBA and merchant fulfilled guys got together and said, look, we're 50% of your sales, update the Seller Central. And they are doing some updates I've seen in the last couple of weeks, opt into the new style, and that's fine. But as of now, it's outdated. You get on your homepage, you basically see general information, your totals for the month, things of that nature. You don't see anything else. And I'll click over here for a second, but as you can see, it's kind of, that's my account's information. So the big thing for me, though, is not that. I want you to pay attention to this over here. All zeros, right? All zeros. It's telling me I have 14 sales in the last 7 days. Now, I could dig deeper, but I don't want you to see my products necessarily yet. Most of the time, I don't care, but on this instance, I will. I've got more sales than that. If I get on my seller app on my phone, I can see that I have more sales than that. There's a delay in the information for some reason. And I think it has to do with the customer's payment, if they've paid for it, or if it's in another FC processing or FC transfer, which I'll get to in a minute. I don't think those sales show up on your Seller Central. But there should be a message from that. There should be something telling me, hey, you've really got 35 sales, but these 21 are in processing or something. Because it said pending sales or unshipped sales were all zero. Well, that's not true. I know it's not true because I can get on my seller app and see it. So they don't tell you that. If there's different information. You could go in your business reports, you're going to get the 14 sales. You can go in your manage order screen and have 35. You can go, there's differences, and it can mess up your inventory if you've got something that you're constantly sending them every month, and you have a monthly inventory of that item, which I do. You're going to know that, hey, this says I got 5 left, I'm good, because this only sells 5 times a month, for example. But you may not have any left. It may be already ordered, and it's still in some kind of a process on the seller side, and you don't know that yet. So customer side, A1. I give the seller side a D, personally, because it's very complicated. You have to dig in the Seller Central to find the information you need, and that information may be delayed. Okay. Another thing they don't tell you that I've heard a couple times, but not from the big guys you find information from, is if you have issues, customer service issues, man, You call the 800 number, you're talking to someone in North Carolina, Baltimore, wherever you're at. You're going to talk to somebody that's on your time, 9 to 5, whatever it is. You're going to get your situation taken care of within an hour. The business side, if you have an issue, you better be prepared to spend time on the phone, spend time waiting on emails, and know that your stock or whatever your issue is probably not going to be taken care of for a while. I'll give you a good example. When I actually started back up after private label and got into more arbitrage and more sourcing things that were not my item that I was approved to sell, I had recently moved from Birmingham, Alabama to Memphis, Tennessee. And so my addresses had to be changed on my charge card, my debit card, everything that's online. And I changed it on my charge methods and deposit methods on the Seller Central side. I changed that. I'll take you to it real quick and give you a kind of what it looks like. It looks like this. So I changed my information here to the correct information, but it kept telling me I couldn't list anything. It kept telling me invalid credit card. So I'm like, there's no way that's invalid. Open cases, give them calls. Oh, well, you changed your address recently. Give it 48 hours, you're good. Okay, I give them 2 days. I come back, still not working. A week later, I can get nothing from these people except general information about we're working on it. The tech team is working on it. So I'm like, look, man, I've got, I live in a big apartment, but it's not a flipping 4,000 square foot apartment. I don't have space for this. It's what I'm paying you for, is to hold my inventory for me. So I had all this stuff building up at home, and I have 3 kids and a wife, and my wife's like, hey, when is this crap leaving my house? So I was getting concerned that I've got money sitting over here, just sitting here. It's kind of like you have your money just buried in the ground. It wouldn't do anything. So I was getting concerned. Weeks went by. We're talking about this whole situation took 6 weeks. Back in April. It started in April. I got it fixed at the end of May. Long story short, basically what happened is that over here on the business information, I changed it here on business address, and I changed it here, but I didn't change it here. And I can't even remember how I found that information. Somebody online, I was on a forum, and they said, have you changed your entity address? And I'm like, crap, I didn't even think about that. And I changed it. And within 48 hours, it was working. I could list, I could send inventory, I could do anything I needed to do. And I was back up and running. The cases I had open were still open. Literally 2 weeks later, I got an email saying, we're still working on your problem. So that's my point. The seller side, you've got people in the Philippines doing this, so there are time differences, you got language barriers, you got time barriers, and then on top of that, I don't think they know how to fix certain issues that are deeper than their probably general screens that they deal with. So it took 5 weeks for them to finally close out that case and say, hey, we noticed you sent inventory, so you're good. But I fixed the problem myself by Googling until I was blue in the face. So point being, be prepared that if you have an issue on the seller side, you could be down for a while as far as sending inventory, because you can't list, send, or anything on my end. I couldn't do anything. What was there was good, but that's what I kept telling them. I'm like, you've been charging this card $39 a month for however long. How's it got a problem? You know what I mean? So it was just the address was not the same in all 5 areas. So long story short, be prepared to have those issues with with the seller service side. Number 2 that the gurus don't tell you, and this one I'm telling you, I may have heard it once, and it wasn't from a big YouTuber. And my next video I'm going to give you a few guys to watch that get in the weeds with you and show you things that, there's a couple of them that are bigger. One of them's bigger now than he was at the beginning when I first started following him. But anyway, that's another video. Is that at the beginning, your startup cost, you're going to be in the hole. Don't think you're going to spend $200 on inventory, ship it to Amazon. It sells literally the minute it hits the warehouse, and you're going to have your money the next week. That's not how it works. You get paid every 2 weeks, right? So say you send something and it gets there on July 1st. Okay, you're supposed to get paid on July 5th, let's just say. You get your stuff there, even the second, you get it there now. It's there on the 27th of June. It sells July 1st, everything. You're gone, you're like, heck yeah, I'm going to be able to get more inventory, and we'll use that money to put back in my business. But if you're a small startup and you only put in 2 to 5, even if you put $1,000 in it, and you had those sales and you got your 1,500 back, and it's, hey man, I'm waiting on it. You're not going to get paid until, if it's after that 5th, when everything sells, even if it sells on the 1st, they have a delay in your money because they wait for the payment to clear, they wait for the item to be delivered, and then it's 7 business days after that when it actually closes and it goes into your account. So let's just say you sold it on the 1st, it was there by the 3rd or the 4th, and then 7 days after that's the 11th. Okay, you miss your 5th, so now you can't get paid to the 19th. You can move it to your bank, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take just as long. You might as well wait. Point being, that's the 19th from the 27th. You see what I'm saying? That's 3 weeks. And you may be needing that money to put back in. So you're going to be in the hole. And if you're doing it the right way, you should be buying inventory every week. So you're putting more money in, and it's a cycle. Once you get going 6 months in, it ain't going to matter. But at the very beginning, it will. And I don't think people tell you that be prepared to be in the hole for the first 6 weeks. That's what I tell people. No matter how much you put in, $100, $1,000, $10,000, be prepared to be in the hole for the first 6 weeks. So I think that's a big thing to think about. And make sure your deposit methods and your charge methods both are on point, that they have no issues with them. Because if they have an issue with the charge method, even if you're in the positive balance, you won't get the money. They'll say your charge method is not correct, therefore we cannot send the money to your bank, because they want to cover any costs that you accrue over the time after that. Okay, so that's a big issue, and I've dealt with that as well. Number 3, and this one I know they don't tell you. Let's say you get on YouTube and you're like, you see this video, I made $500 in 30 minutes, right? So you watch them and they're doing arbitrage, for example, but this is also true with private label. And they get online and they find, crap for $5 that sells for 10, and they get $500 in an hour. In time it will be, but I can't stress this enough. If you send in 100 SKUs, I can almost guarantee you that 60% of them are going to be in what's called FC transfer. Most of the time when sellers send their stuff in, it's not necessarily to a fulfillment center, it's to a distribution center who then sends it to other places. Even if you ship all of your stuff to the same place, sometimes they'll tell you to ship to Phoenix, Charlotte, Baltimore, wherever, and you're thinking, okay, well, it's going to sell from there. Not necessarily. So I can't tell you how many items I've had that I ship in and they're there in 2 days, but then they get put in FC transfer for 7 business days up to 30 business days. I've still got stuff in FC transfer right now from the beginning of May. This is the end of June. It shows on your, I guess it was the end of May. Right, it was the end of May. Anyway, it'll still show, like when you search that item on the customer side, it'll show you having it, but it'll say back ordered, due in stock, such and such date. That's the latest date it'll be in stock. It could be there earlier, but I've noticed that it's at least 3 to 5 business days before it's a minimum of that. So be prepared that your stock, just because you shipped it and you're waiting on sales and all that, it could sit there for, it could show back ordered for 2 weeks. And people don't tell you that. They don't. And it's something, if you're starting out, you need to know that, right? You need to know if that's going on. And the main reason I made the video, and the main reason I'm making all these videos, is I want you to have detailed information about FBA that you're not necessarily getting from these other guys. And it's not to be a brand or have 1 million subscribers. It's not any of that. I just know how hard it was for me to find this information. And some of these issues you're not going to know about till you fall into them, because you couldn't find the information. True enough, I could have searched FC processing problem on YouTube and found it, but I didn't know about that issue until I started, because nobody talks about that issue. So I want you guys to understand that you're going to be in the hole 6 weeks. You're going to have to deal with people in the Philippines with language barriers, time barriers. and general information that they really act like they don't know what they're doing, which I'm sure they do, but they take forever to do it. And that your money, if it's in FC transfer, is going to take forever. You're going to be in the hole to start out with. Even if you're getting sales, you're going to be in the hole. So keep that in mind. The next, I want you guys to just, if you got any content out of it, if you got any value out of this video, like it, thumbs up, subscribe, share it, whatever. You don't have to. If you don't, by all means, skip it. But I do want this information online for other people, even if it helps 10 people, one person, whatever, to not have to go through these issues, or at least to be prepared for them, to know how to react to them, and know that they could happen. That's a big deal to me, because if you don't, you're gonna, and it's true with any business, you're gonna run into issues you didn't know about. So I'm trying to throw these out there to let you know this stuff will happen, especially the FC transfer and the delay in funds. Those are gonna happen. You're gonna have those issues, period. So know that going into it. And if you're a small guy like me right now, where you may only have $1,000 a month in sales, that could be an issue. If you're having to put, say you're spending $800, $700 for inventory, well, if that's a monthly price, you're going to have to go in the hole probably $1,400 before you even get to the profits that will come back. You see what I mean? So if you're sourcing every week, you're going to have to understand that. The next video I'm going to do, and I'm going to probably do it right now, because I do want you guys to understand there are YouTubers out there that do tell you more than general information, and some of them are big, some of them aren't. But I can think of 3 or 4, maybe 5 that give you really good information, and some of them are specific to arbitrage. Some of them do both. Some of them do private label. But don't watch everybody's video when it comes to the guru guys, because a lot of times they're just selling you something. They're trying to sell you a course, and I've said this in other videos. I can't stand when I hear them talk about, well, everybody says how easy it is, but I'm telling you it's hard. No, you're not. You're telling me it's hard now, but if you go back in time, come on, dude. You've got all the videos too where you made $1,000 in 45 minutes. So don't fall for that. That's not, you potentially made $1,000 in 45 minutes. But that doesn't necessarily, you won't receive it for if it's sold the next day after it hit Amazon, you wouldn't receive it for 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So that's a minimum. So don't think that these guys are just spending 50, making 300, and they're getting that money 2 weeks from now. That's not how it works. So just a quick one. Wanted you guys to know that, and I hope you have a good weekend. And like I said, get your information straight before you start. A prepared mind is a prepared mind. So be prepared for things. Okay? Talk to you later.